right? You knew when the trailer was dropping. They did a teaser trailer for the trailer. I know you hate that shit, Ricky Flicks, but they had to do this because this was going to do absolute numbers. They knew it, right? And there's going to be an insane amount of eyeballs on this trailer. You have a sequel to $1 billion movie. There's a lot of like controversy of whether they should do a sequel or not. There's a lot of controversy over the movie itself and its handling of mental illness. And then you have an elite fandom that joins this movie with the Lady Gaga fans, Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, add in all those numbers, right? You knew this was going to be a monster. Ricky Flex, I want to get your first impressions. Did this trailer live up to the hype?
God, I think the hype is the question here. Like, all right, let's just take a step back. Joker comes out 2019. This anti-hero type of story that's highly like with Joaquin Phoenix in search for his first Oscar. One of the Todd Phillips not doing the comedy route anymore. This is his first foray in that. We have Bradley Cooper producing this. You see Robert De Niro's coming along. You're seeing, like you're having odes to Taxi Driver and all. You see a ton of hype for that movie. Comes out, Oscar nominated, had 9 Oscar noms, 2 wins, including Best Actor and score. Like, pretty good, right? But then it's like, pretty divisive film, as in, do we like it or not? The mental illness side of it and everything. And then it makes $1 billion. So it's like, it's got to get a sequel. It gets a sequel, but it's not just a direct sequel. Like, you're not going to include Batman. It's going to be, a musical with Lady Gaga. So It's just like, what? It was a Deepa nominee 2 years ago for like weird randomest or weirdest checkup story, because a freaking musical with the Joker, it makes no sense. So it's like your anticipation levels keep going up and down. It's like, it's arguably the greatest villain of all time in movies, but it's such a weird conundrum and polarizing freaking movie and topic that like you're trying to meet in the middle of the anticipation level. So like for me in this trailer, I was like, I just want to see if it's going to be a solid movie. So I didn't really have high anticipation levels going into it, or the hype levels. But my God, it blew away. It blew it away. I thought this trailer was great. It's crazy. I thought it was great. I really did. And I know it's also getting like, I think the majority of people think it's good, but still a lot of people are saying that they're the same controversial thoughts from before with the mental illness side, and that no way this could be good, or the first Joker sucked. Now they're leaning even more into it, but they have to acknowledge that this trailer looks pretty good, which is pretty crazy. So kind of a roller coaster of emotions as I was going through, but overall with the trailer, way beyond my expectations for it. And I actually like wish I kind of drafted it for the top billing.
This is definitely gonna be a Deepa nominee for trailer of the year for the 2025 Deepas. This trailer, I never bought into the musical hype. Like Todd Phillips kind of like qualmed everybody, with his like comments on it. He said this isn't going to be a pure musical. They're all going to be recognizable songs. And I think he said there's going to be like 15 songs in the entire thing. I don't know how long each of those moments will be, but it's not like they're writing their own music for the movie. And I don't think it's going to lean as much on the musical aspect, but I think just the theme of music and how it's a form of like treatment, like for people with mental illness in a way, and how Arkham Asylum is using it on their inmates. It's obviously going to be a massive influence on this, So I get where they're coming from. The look of the movie is astonishing, and I know there's a lot of controversy over the subject matter in the original Joker, right? But you can't deny like the filmmaking elements of Joker were pretty damn good. And this one seems like it's elevating it, and the score is phenomenal in Joker. I wonder what it's going to sound like when you have it was so good because it's like it captured that depressing, lonely person who also has deviant thoughts. And this one, you have that lonely person with those deviant thoughts finding solace in another person, and that person looks at Joker, that Harley Quinn character, as like a hero. Like how this is going to like empower Joker. It might have him fly off the deep end, right? I always saw at the end of Joker, he's going to be doing so. in Joker 2 to a whole nother level that has me super excited about it. Who's going to push him even further across the line, further over the edge, but also the like the shots that were captured in this trailer, right? The dance sequences, the ballroom type sequences that have the remnants of like La La Land as inspiration. You have Lady Gaga like doing some electric dance moves, and you probably assume it's going to be in a hallucinatory type of situation like we got in the first film, but it's just going to be more entertaining, you know. But compared to like the Zazie Beats like fake love story that was happening within Joker, we're going to get Lady Gaga instead, and they're going to be like absolutely magical musical numbers. Like you couldn't have picked a better Harley Quinn for a movie that's going to focus so much on music. But I thought a lot of people are talking about the marker or the lipstick on the mirror, and then it has Joker on the other side, right? It was an amazing shot where he smiles into the lipstick on the mirror. Really cool stuff, right? But I did get some La La Land influence. And when you think about inspirations, this movie, Joker 1 is known for taking inspiration. It's like King of Comedy, it's Taxi Driver. The movie was executive produced by Martin Scorsese along with Bradley Cooper, right? Or it was just straight up produced by Bradley Cooper. Here it's like, we have to go in a different direction because the first movie was just so depressing, right? So let's just see when this person is fully transforming into the Joker character we've come to expect. I got super high expectations. I actually love the direction that it took.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. And I also say, like, it's going to be tough for this to make as much as to make $1 billion. But I don't know, man. If this is better than the first one with the music, and also it's a musical.
It's making more than the first one, bro.
Musicals are tough to sell, like naturally. They just are. That's why like Mean Girls didn't promote their movie as a musical, and people were shocked when they went to see it and it was a musical. Like musicals are tougher to sell. And yes, this is a sequel, and usually sequels do better. But with a movie that's as controversial or polarizing as the first one, I don't know. It's still the Joker. It's still going to make a bunch of money. But the one thing I'll say with this movie that where it has potential to make $1 billion again, October is looking weak. It comes out October 4th. There's nothing coming out major the week after. And then it's the Smile sequel, which did well at the box office, but like that's still like a small scale horror movie. And then after that, it's Venom 3. So like this has runway to make some serious money in a core movie month, October, at the box office. So after this trailer with Lady Gaga, huge premise, like just on her own can make a bunch of money on the box office, let alone a Joker project. I could see this doing really well again.
I'm firmly in the camp that it's going to make more than the first movie, and a lot of it has to do with Lady Gaga. Her fandom that surrounds her. The last appearance in a major film was House of Gucci from Ridley Scott. Obviously, Star is Born. It's like, oh my God, look what Lady Gaga can do aside from being a pop singer. And she's fully into the acting game now, you know. And Joker, Oscar win for Joaquin Phoenix, and then you have him returning in a role that he won Best Actor for, and then you have Lady Gaga being inserted here. I think with her talent as an actor and dancer and singer, man, she's going to be on full display in this movie. I'm thinking that she is going to get a nomination for Best Actress, and this is going into what Margot Robbie has talked about. And people are going to say after this movie, who's like the definitive Harley Quinn? And Margot Robbie has said she wanted the Harley Quinn character to always be like what the Joker is now, right? To turn that into a role that everyone seeks and one that people can put their own spin on, and that can be in prestigious projects, but also widely seen projects, and people can have a hype and anticipation for. I think Lady Gaga and Joaquin, they might become one of the most iconic movie couples of all time. You thought like Jared Leto and Margot Robbie had that type of pop culture influence. We're going to have pop culture influence from this movie, but also like, damn, like these are really talented performers that are on at the top of their game. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, no, I'll go a step further. I think she's going to win an Oscar for this.
Whoa.
So it's all, everything you said, all the elements, all her best elements, the acting, dancing, musical sequences, and starring next to Joaquin, who will bring the best out of her. That's just like gonna be at minimum a nominee. And for a big project like this, something that the Oscars took in, a big IP. Oh no, Oscars won't do anything. No, they gave the first one 9 Oscars. They're gonna do the same thing. Oscars, they love giving Oscars out to other Oscar nominated things. Joker is now, this franchise, you could say, is now an Oscar nominated franchise. So they're gonna give these Oscars again. And if you look at the movie year, Best Leading Actress looks pretty thin. Like you have Saoirse Ronan, Blitz, maybe Furiosa, Anya Taylor-Joy.
It's early.
I know it's early, but if you look at the movie slate, it looks so weak for that category already. Even supporting actress, it looks.
This is gonna be such a loud performance, dude.
Exactly. So, like, minimum is the nomination. I'm thinking win already.
Yeah, and I tweeted it'd be amazing if Joaquin just went back to back. Like, what if he gets nominated for the same exact role? Joaquin. It's a different vibe of a movie. This is why I think Joaquin agreed to do it, because Joaquin is obviously such an actor's actor, and he is someone that cares about the script, and he wants to be in a movie that's worth making, right? He has just high intellectual, and I don't think he would have done it if it was as slow as the first movie, if it had not much of a creative difference from the first movie. But the fact that he's growing his character, he's going from this loner to someone that potentially is more inspired in the second movie and can go even more volatile than the first film, and it could just go in a direction, and the tone is just not the same. Like, I think it's like creatively inspiring Joaquin, and that's why he's like pumped to do it. But they won't. I don't think they'll nominate him for the same exact role.
Yeah,
but has that ever been done before? Was Stallone nominated for Rocky in '76?
I don't know if he was ever nominated. I don't think he was nominated twice for Rocky.
Because he was nominated for Creed, playing the same character.
Oh, right. Okay, so maybe, but I can't think of that. But obviously we talked about like the same character getting nominated, like the Joker has been nominated, Heath Ledger, obviously. But my last comment on this would be, we can't forget the salary implications for this movie. Joaquin Phoenix in the first movie made $4.5 million. Do you know his salary for this one?
He's got to be making at least $20 million for this.
It's $20 million.
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga's $12 million. So, like, yes, you're right. Creativity, like looking at the creativity of the role, how different it is. He's back to doing something with music and dancing, which he hasn't done since Walk the Line 2005. Yes, granted, added to the resume, that variety, and maybe, yeah, exactly. But $20 million, $20 million, that's going to be his highest. And like, that's going to help him going forward to say, I demand this much money, like going forward in his career. That's pretty massive too. And same with Lady Gaga, 12 million.
Yeah. Honestly, where I'm seeing it, what if Joker 2 is more successful than the first movie? Let's say they make this bold decision. Joaquin's going to die at the end. Arthur Fleck will die at the end of this movie. Like, you could just make another Harley Quinn movie with Lady Gaga.
Yes.
This is like the danger of making a sequel, where it's you make this and you introduce another character that wasn't in the first film, and people fall in love with that character. They want to keep it like going, right? This momentum. So that's why I think people were like, oh, this is like an Oscar movie. This is one we have to leave it be. But I think Todd Phillips, actually, with the change of tone and direction of this, he's inspiring more movies to come. It's going to be really interesting, Ricky Flicks. And they do a very interesting thing with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn doesn't appear to have the same origin story as Batman the Animated Series and the comic books. Instead of Harley Quinn being the therapist to Joker and her falling in love with Joker, instead she is an inmate as well, or someone being treated at Arkham Asylum. And I think it was very smart to change it, not have it feel as comic booky, right? But to have this person suffering from mental illness who is a loner, isolated, and then finding solace in someone else. And this Harley Quinn character, it's very much connected to how the controversial part of the first movie is how people were idolizing Joker. and she is someone that idolizes Joker as well. So to have that continuation, and then for the confidence that Joaquin's character Arthur Fleck could have when he has someone that worships him, that very much is ingrained in the Harley Quinn character. So when people ask like, ah, man, are they changing the origin, the lore of Harley Quinn? Well, it still has the same key elements. And that's why the musical aspect is like interesting too, because there are parts in Batman the Animated Series and in comic books where both Joker and Harley Quinn, they break out to song and dance, and they're very fantastical. I think this kind of does belong within the same realm as what we've seen with the lore of Harley Quinn. That's all. That's kind of one. I just don't have really a beef with them changing anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. I like that. Like, what I don't want to see is what they did in the first one, which kind of when you walked out of the theater in the first one, you had a bad taste in your mouth, which is they had the Martha Wayne Pearl scene.
Yeah,
the killing of the parents. Like, we've seen that. We've seen it 1,000 times, and like, it's too much. That's what I don't want to see in this movie. Leaving the theater with a bad taste in my mouth because we're doing this direct adaptation with something that we've seen 1,000 times. This, like you're saying, has the elements of what we've seen in the comic books, but not a direct thing that we'll just roll our eyes at and be like, oh my God, Todd Phillips, what the hell are you doing? That's what I like in this trailer.
And I was also curious, now that you bring that up, what other connections to Batman lore will we see in this movie? I don't think many. This is a DC Elseworlds project, and I think they want to avoid something like the pearls that was seen at the end of Joker, right? With the slaying of Thomas and Martha Wayne. I think they want to eliminate that. You could have some nice. They're in Arkham Asylum, so like you got to have a little bit more like Easter eggs, I think, when you're in Arkham Asylum, right? Whether it's like nameplates on prison cells or things like that. That could happen. I don't expect to see any villains or anything of that nature. But I think that's at most what we're gonna get. I don't think we pan to Bruce Wayne at all. I don't know.
We did, yeah. I agree. I don't want to do that either.
Because I don't know how long a time jump there's going to be. People talk about potentially there's a time jump at the end of Joker, where he goes from being arrested from shooting Arthur Murray, Robert De Niro's character, and then you have him with whiter hair, right, talking to a therapist in Arkham Asylum. So if there's been like 10 years potentially, then you have like an 18-year-old Bruce Wayne. Just don't want to see him. Just accept the fact that Joaquin's Joker will never face a Batman, right? Have this as an Elseworlds project. Leave it at that. So just don't have too many like connections to Batman lore, because honestly, this feels so different. It feels like Batman would never exist in this kind of world. People that are calling for Pattinson to like unite with Joaquin, it's ridiculous now. It's just ridiculous. It's not going to happen. Don't expect it to happen.
Eric Keoghan's our guy.
He is like, this Joker is not physically able enough to go against Robert Pattinson's Batman, and mentally maybe like as someone who is known for getting inside of Batman's head, like mentally owning Batman at points, right? Putting him in a pretzel. Arthur Fleck's not that. He's too feeble. He's too feeble of a Joker to take on a Batman. Leave it the way it is. Maybe have the discussion after we see this movie, like, oh my God, look what Joaquin did so differently. Maybe he has transformed and can't take on a Batman, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just leave it be.
With due respect, but none whatsoever. He is not smart enough to take on a Batman.
Speaking of like Easter egg type of moments in this trailer, did you see there was like a hallucinatory, or maybe it's actually happening type of sequence where Harley is getting married to Joker? And did you see who was one of the groomsmen for Joaquin?
I didn't rewatch it, so I forget. It
was the midget that Arthur spared during the first film. So it was a nice callback to the first movie. He always liked him. Like he always like stuck up for Arthur. So I was just like, okay.
And I forgot to mention this. I know you briefly talked about it. That reminds me. Yeah, I hated the hallucinations in the first movie. And this one, yes, they'll be more tolerable because there'll be musical set pieces, and you're like, it's more of a belief factor. They're not trying to fool you. Like Todd Phillips isn't gonna be like, oh, this is real life, or this like
it'll be obvious.
No, it's gonna be obvious, which is good. But they need to be able to connect it well, where it's like it's worth it to do these hallucinations. If it's not worth it to do these set pieces, then I'm going to be freaking pissed. Like, you can't just look good. Obviously, from the first one, it's like you're right. It did have those technical elements. I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. And this one, though, we need to be able to connect to the story with these hallucinations properly. If we don't do that for a second straight time, don't talk to me about another Elseworlds project with Harley Quinn.
I think the hallucinations are where the musical aspects will come in, because in this world, it's like, because obviously music tells a story usually in a musical. I think they will tell a story through the hallucinations that they're both going through, but there's not, I don't think there's gonna be much song and dance during reality, like
Right,
during
right. I
like those
I
type of
agree.
moments. And like the and even the ones that look like they're happening in reality look amazing. You know, it's the ones where it looks, apparently, I don't know if it's actually going to be reality, but both Joker and Harley like going down the stairs together, right, in dance form, just like we saw
That was
Joaquin
good.
at the end of Joker. Right, there's like a lot of callbacks in that regard. It's like Joker and Harley having their own show, whether it be in reality or not. That's similar to the Arthur Murray show. There's a lot, and there's the moments where Harley Quinn is doing the gun, like faking the suicide, just like Joaquin did when he was fantasizing about Zazie Beetz. You know, those type of things. I just like the callbacks, and now it just makes you think like, who's doing more of the hallucinating? Are they doing together? It's Harley like hallucinating, idolizing Joker, or is it going to be vice versa? Who knows? Who knows, Ricky Flex? Uh, any other final comments? I thought it was weird having Steve Coogan here. I didn't even know he was in this goddamn movie. And then Brendan Gleeson's in this cast. I don't think we saw him in the trailer.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the Brendan Gleeson thing. Did not see him in the trailer. I'm interested what he does. Is he going to be a mayor, like mayor of Gotham?
Ooh, good point.
I'm interested in that. The Coogan, that feels right as like a news guy, therapist, whatever you want to call it. Don't know for sure yet. That feels right. I actually like that casting.
It's
He'll probably
interesting.
die. But I like that casting.
Like, I could see Arthur Fleck killing him on the way out.
Yeah.
You know. Okay.